Hey everybody, welcome to the Bandzoogle webinar today, how to build a professional website for your music. My name is Allison Sharp. I'm the Education and Event Specialist here at Bandzoogle. Desi Rotman is going to be joining us in just a minute. She's going to co-host with me today. She'll be answering questions in the chat box to the right once she's connected. But before we get started, I just want to make sure that you can see and hear me. So if you can type in the chat box to the right where you're from, that way I can say hello and I can make sure that we are connected. So we'll just give a minute or two for that. Let's see. We're just going to also wait for Desi to pop in as well. The format for today, we're going to just go through a brief slideshow presentation that's going to talk about website best practices. We'll talk about Bandzoogle a little bit. Everybody on this webinar, it should be a free trial member or recently just upgraded. So there may be some things that you're missing out on, or you may be stuck on some things. So we're going to just go through the slideshow and just kind of go through it like that. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and build a website from scratch so you guys can see, you know, how easy it is if you've kind of gotten stuck on something. And so I'll leave a little time at the end for questions and answers. Also, if there's something you really want to see during the build of the website, you can go ahead and type it in the chat to the right as well. I'm going to try to get through as much as I possibly can today. Hey, Jeff from New York and Diane from Minnesota, I think. So we'll go ahead and do the slideshow, then we'll build the website from scratch, and then we'll do a Q&A at the end. So hopefully we'll get through all that in the hour that we have. Let's see, still waiting on Desi to join in. She was connected, but then there was a little bit of a glitch, and so she had to pop out for a second, and so she should be reconnecting any minute. Oh, I think she's coming in. We'll just wait a second for her to get connected.
There we go.
Yay, okay, she's back. You can introduce yourself again if you'd like, Desi.
Oh, hi, I'm Desi. I am on the support team and I co-host the webinars with Allison. If you guys have any questions during the webinar, I'll be answering them to the chat box to the right.
And I'm slightly jealous because Desi's working outside today and it looks beautiful. Beautiful Chicago.
Yeah.
It's nice here. I'm in Southern California, so I mean, it's not that much different, but I'm not outside, so that's a bummer. But it looks beautiful.
In the 95-degree weather.
Yeah, exactly. But it looks great where you are. Hey, Leslie from Florida. Oh, I wonder if it's hot in Florida. I bet it's hot and probably humid. I went to Florida, I think, once or twice when I was young, and it was it was great, but it was super humid. I do remember that. But anyways, it looks like you guys can see and hear us. So because we're on such a limited time, I'm going to go ahead and jump in and get started. It's just going to take me a minute to, well, Leslie confirms it is humid. Sorry to hear that, Leslie. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And then we will go ahead and jump right in here. So 1 second here. Okay, can you see that, Desi? I don't know if I lost her or not. Desi, are you able to see that? You guys should be able to see the screen full screen right now. I can't see the chat when I'm in the screen share, but hopefully you guys can see that. So I'm going to go ahead and just run through the slides. So obviously you guys are already with Bandzoogle as a free trial member or a paid member. And so Bandzoogle, we're a website and direct-to-fan marketing platform. We give you all the tools to easily build your website. You don't have to know any coding or anything. I'm sure you guys have discovered that it's pretty easy to build a website. We do offer free domain registration once you upgrade to a paid plan. So that'll be easy to set up once you get to that level. And then we do offer fast and reliable cloud hosting, so you don't really have to, you know, worry about your website going down or any of that. We have servers through Amazon S3, so they're really powerful servers. With Bandzoogle, we're musician focused, so we were created by musicians for musicians. So one of the things we do offer is a music player. We offer a few different options. You can stream right on your site. You can offer free downloads. You can sell commission free. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do. You can also like import it from SoundCloud. We also offer a few things for our pro plan members, like album pre-orders and sound scan reporting, so you can chart on Billboard. Just one second. I'm getting a text from Desi saying that the webinar has cut out. I think you guys are still connected. If you guys could just type into the chat box to the right that we're still connected. I'm just gonna, hold on one second.
It does look like it's up now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. Okay. All right. Thanks, Desi. Okay. We're having a couple glitches with our webinar software today, so just bear with us. Okay, so the next thing we have is our calendar feature, which is called our events feature. You can sell tickets commission free. You can add custom images. You can share your events. If you have an event that you're, gigging like every Saturday, you can set them to recur. And then we also have Bands in Town integration as well. With our mailing list feature, you can send professional email newsletters. The mailing list is built in. So you don't have to use any external software if you don't want to. You can schedule the emails for later. We give you detailed reports. And if you already have a list built somewhere else, you can easily import it into the mailing list as well. We also offer a commission-free store. This is the kind of feature that you would use if you have physical items like T-shirts and CDs, vinyl records, and things like that. But with our Pro plan, you can also upload sheet music, videos, and sell those things as well. We also offer discount code, sale pricing, and then if you have a limited supply of something, you can do automatic inventory tracking as well. To date, our members have sold over $25 million in commission-free sales and counting, and we don't take a cut of any of those sales. With our edit theme tab, we have over 100 beautiful mobile-ready themes. There's a lot of variety there, and the cool thing is even once you choose a theme, you can customize it very easily. You can change things like fonts, font styles and sizes, layouts. We have image filters, so you can do things like how you can do on Instagram with different types of filters, black and white. There's just a lot of things that you can do with the custom editor. So that way, once you choose a theme, you don't feel like your Bandzoogle site is looking like everybody else's. We also offer detailed fan data. We do that through Google Analytics, and so you can see how many people are visiting your site, what pages they're going to. You can also look at things like what songs they're playing in full, what songs they're skipping through, and that's really great data just to know for your music. You can also easily connect to all the services that you have on social media like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can add YouTube videos right on your site so people can watch the videos on your site, and that's pretty easy to do with our features. We also offer 7-day-a-week support, and we do that through email and live chat so that we can have a record of it on your account. And then we can also get back to you really quickly. If you're emailing us through live chat, it's real time, so you can just get your questions answered right away. So once you guys are out of your free trial and you're ready to upgrade, we do have 3 different plans. You can go to your account tab and look at all the breakdown like you see here. But it's just the main difference really is how many tracks you have and really how many mailing list members you're going to want to send mail to. All the plans come with a free domain name. All the plans, have robust servers. So it really just depends on how much you're wanting to add to your website. So we get with this question a lot, like, isn't social media just enough for me? Like, can I just promote my music on social media? The answer is no. Social media is awesome. You should definitely be utilizing social media to promote yourself. But there's really some great reasons why you should also have your own dedicated website. The first thing is that you own the address. You're guaranteed to have your own little piece of the internet. Your fans are always going to be able to find you. If social media starts to go downhill, like you'll notice there's trends with social media. So like back in the day, MySpace was the most popular thing ever, and everyone was on board with that. But over time, it started to get less and less, and people started jumping ship and moving over to, say, Facebook. Well, you may have had a great following on MySpace, but once people started leaving, there was no way to stay in touch. You didn't have their email address or anything. So with your own website, you can have a mailing list sign-up form that allows you to collect your fans' email addresses, so you'll always be able to stay in touch. You also own the experience, so there's no distractions. I'm sure you guys have noticed the huge increase in ads on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's just really super distracting. And so with your own website, there's no design limits and there's no ads flashing in your visitor's face. Third is that you own the data. So you're going to get to know where your fans are from, what site brought them to you. And then also you earn more money by selling directly right from your website. The other thing that we want to talk about is the importance of a mailing list. It's really super important. That a lot of times people think, oh, email's outdated, it's not really worth it anymore, but it's actually still very valid. The first thing is that you own it. Basically, you can download your database and take it with you. So it's basically like having an address book for emails that you can just put in your pocket. So it doesn't matter what service you're using, what website host or whatever. You can always have your fans with you as long as you have their email addresses. Secondly, it's the ultimate permission marketing. So on social media, you're kind of just shouting out like, hey, check this out, and people follow you, but it doesn't always mean they want to hear from you. When people sign up to your mailing list, that indicates that they want to know what you're doing. So when you send out your newsletters, they want to hear from you. They want to know. The third thing is that it's the best way to sell. There was a study done that says email marketing is 40 times as effective as Facebook and Twitter combined. That's huge. So even though you may be using social media, email marketing is still 40 times as effective. So you definitely want to continue using, email as a way of staying in touch with your fans. And then four, it's the best way to stay in touch. An email list is an artist retirement plan. So basically what that means is that you're always going to be able to stay in touch with your fans regarding any tours or new albums or anything like that. So there's always an opportunity to sell new things to your fans. So we want to talk about your website's audience. There's 3 different audiences that we're going to go through today. The first one is your potential fans. These are people that don't really know about you yet. They might have seen you on social media. They might have heard about you through a friend or something like that. And so they don't really know you yet. So they want to know what your story is. So on your homepage, you're going to want to put your best song and video up front. You're also going to want to get them on your mailing list. You can do that by offering free samples, exclusive content, or something like that. The second thing is your current fans. These are people that are already kind of on board with you and your music. They're going to want to know what's new. You should always try to add some sort of like blog posts, photo galleries, or latest news on your homepage. You can also offer limited edition products or package deals to your current fans, and then also continue to get them on your mailing list. You can do that, again, by offering some free stuff to them. And then the third one, which is usually overlooked, is industry and media. When you have a website, you are definitely kind of catering to your fans, but you also want to make it easy for the industry professionals to get to know you or kind of see what you're doing. And so they're going to want to know what's new with you, what makes you unique or different. Again, it's super important to put your best stuff up front. Industry professionals, they have such limited time because they're inundated with so many artists and entertainers coming at them, wanting them, to check their stuff out. So they don't really have time to fish through your website. So it's also a great idea to have a dedicated press kit page. A press kit page is a one page on your website that they can see everything at a glance. So it'll have a short little bio, some high quality images, your music, videos, press quotes, career highlights, and then some a place for contact. That way they can get in touch with you right away. And Desi can link to a blog post that we have about how to set up a great press kit or EPK page. So in terms of designing your website, there's a few design quick tips that I want to go over. The first thing is in regard to photos. You will always want to use professional photos for things like headers, backgrounds, and promo photos. Bad photos can seriously create a negative impression of your music. So you want to invest the extra money and get professional photos taken. You don't only get to use those on your website, but you can use them all over social media. If somebody wants to interview you for, say, a blog post or something, you'll always have images that you can send. Let's see. The next one is about colors on your website. So it might be tempting to throw a bunch of different colors on, but we recommend sticking to 3 major colors: a primary brand color, contrasting secondary, and then a third accent color to complement primary and secondary colors. You can add, 1 or 2 more, but you always want to stay in the same color family or colors that complement each other. And then in terms of the type or typography on your site, you're going to want to avoid the wacky fonts. So wacky fonts are things that have curly cues, jagged edges, swirls, and things like that. They might look fun, but if they're hard to read, it really defeats the purpose. And you really want your band name or your artist name to stand out. You also want to avoid using unprofessional websites. So you'll always want to just make sure that they're like basic standard fonts. You also want to pay attention to the contrast between the font color and background. So once you've designed your site, go and look at it as a visitor would and make sure it's not hard on the eyes. We recommend using left aligned text where possible instead of centered, and then use bold, italics, or all caps as little as possible. You'll want to use that for things like headers and titles. Another thing is when you're considering a website host, hopefully you'll continue on with Bandzoogle, but if you don't, you just want to make sure that wherever you build your site, it's a mobile-friendly site. It's definitely very important because mobile digital media is now higher compared to desktop. So more people are looking at websites from their phones or tablets than they are, say on their desktop or laptop. So it's got to be seamless. It's got to be easy to see all your content, and then they still have to be able to buy stuff right from your site without having to, stop and go back home to buy it off their, laptop, for example. The other thing is that Google had an update, and so they actually punish sites that aren't mobile friendly in search rankings, and they boost mobile friendly pages in search rankings. So you want to make sure that your website is set. So with Bandzoogle, we already have that in place. You only have to design your site one time, and it scales down to any screen size that somebody's visiting from. So we're all set there. A few navigation tips. So navigation is your main menu. It's the main menu at the top of your site so people can get through all your pages. So you want to make the navigation easy. We recommend limiting that to roughly 8 buttons or less. If you have a lot of buttons, that means that you should go back and kind of condense information and really pay attention to what's necessary and what's really not necessary. You have to think of it from your visitor's perspective about what you think they want to know about. Secondly, you'll want to have one clear purpose per section. So you don't want to have a bunch of stuff all on just one page. You want to spread it out to have, say your blog on one page, your music on another page, and things like that. And thirdly, you want to keep page names simple and easy to see. And so once they get on the actual page, you can get a little bit more creative with the content. Also, I know that I'm going quickly through this, but we will be sending out an email with a link to the replay of this webinar after the webinar is over. So don't worry if you're missing out on some of this information. You'll always be able to go back to the replay. So with a website, there's 8 essential sections that you're going to want to have, and we're going to briefly run through those so that you will know what you should be having on your website. So the number 1 page is your home page. This is the most important page. It's the page that people see first. And if it doesn't stand out or if it doesn't grab their attention, they might just click off the page and, not come back to your website. So you really want to make your home page stand out. So you'll want to have a great header image, and that's what we talked about in terms of having professional photos. You want a short 2 or 3 line bio. The bio should say something like, this is who we are, this is what type of music we do, and this is where we're from. It doesn't have to be extensive. It just should be, kind of like a short little welcome message. You'll also want to have your best music and videos up front. Not all of it. You don't want to put all your music on your homepage, just 2 or 3 songs. And then you'll want to have some latest news and then your social media links. Also on your homepage, it's essential to have a call to action. A call to action is the one thing that you want your visitors to do once they hit your site. So it can be something like join your mailing list, make a purchase, watch a video, something like that. The number 1 call to action is going to be sign up to my mailing list. Again, it's super important to stay in touch with your fans that way. So you always want to have the mailing list sign up form right at the top of the content area, as high on the page as you can. The second page you're going to want to have is a bio. You'll want to have a full long bio written in 3rd person, and then you'll want to have a short bio that's kind of, like just a short little paragraph, so that if somebody wants to, write an article about you, they can copy and paste it, and it'll be easy to use. And then third, of course, you're going to want to have some photos on your bio page. The 3rd page you'll want is a music page. You'd be surprised, a lot of musician sites don't have music pages. And when people come to a musician's website, they're coming there to listen to your music. They want to get to know you, but they also want to hear the music. So it's important to have song samples. You can also have lyrics. You want to have a full discography. If you have more than one album, you want to have display all the things that you've done. You can set up on this page a downloadable track for emails. So that would look something like you can download this track for free, and it'll be in exchange for us getting your email address. And then you'll want to add a little context about the album or EP. So you can say, this was my inspiration. This is how the album came about, something like that. The fourth page you're going to want to have is shows. Now, if you're not actively gigging or you don't do performances, you don't have to have a shows page. But if you are actively doing events, you'll want to have that calendar of events on the page. You always want to add some sort of live photos or live videos to your shows page, just to kind of let people know, what they would get if they come to one of your shows. It just makes it a little bit more relatable to them. And then fifth, you're going to want to have a photos page. This really kind of draws your fans in and lets them know a little bit more about you. You'll want to have some official promo photos, but also some live photos. And you can also add your Instagram feed just to make it a little bit more personal. Then the next page that you might possibly have would be a videos page. Now, sometimes you may not have videos, and it's okay if you don't have a videos page. But if you do have some videos, video is huge. When people are searching Google, for any sort of topics, they rank video searches higher. So if you have videos, it's such a good idea to put them on your website. And you can embed those right on your site from YouTube or Vimeo. It's really easy to do. And then also a store page. Another thing, like I mentioned, is that you may not have items for sale. Like if you don't have t-shirts and mugs and physical CDs, you don't have to have this page. But if you do have those things, it is a great way to sell extra items on your site, and you'll want to have a clear way to contact you as well. And then finally, the last page that you should always have on any website is a contact page. You'll want to use an email form. You do not want to add your actual email address right on the site, even if it's a link, because spam bots crawl sites looking for that sort of thing, and they'll spam you. So your inbox will start to get inundated with spam. So you always want to just use the custom form that says, that has a field for their name, their email, and then a message. And then on your contact page, this is where you're going to want to add your social media links and mailing list sign-up forms. So this is like the last page before they, click off of your site. So this is the last time that you can kind of get them on your list and kind of get them moved over to your social media to keep exploring you and your music. So one of the things that we recommend is that you follow us on at least one of our social media accounts, because we do update a lot of features, and we also add a lot of blog posts, consistently, that talks about, media and industry best practices, website best practices. And so that's a great way to stay in touch with us. So you'll want to make sure that you follow us there. So this slide says website reviews. We're not going to be doing reviews today. We're actually going to be building a site from scratch. So now is the time. If there's something specific you want to see while I'm building the site, go ahead and type it in, and I'll come back and check the chat in just a minute. But let me go ahead and stop sharing this screen. Hopefully we're still connected. Desi, can you still see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So I'm just going to go just to Bandzoogle, like a normal, first-time visitor would. Oh, maybe I typed it wrong. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and click Try It Free, which you guys have already all pretty much done this step. Okay. I hear the birds chirping over there, Desi. Sounds really beautiful where you are. So nice.
Nice ambient background.
Yeah, I love it. It's so nice. Okay, so this is where you're just going to choose a theme. Now, this is where there's plenty of options for choosing whatever theme that you want to use. We have ones with, this vertical type menu. We have ones with menu under the header, above the header, We have some with a little bit more space for the text instead of the image being so big. And then there's genres up here, so you can choose different ones that'll kind of let you know what it'll look like in your genre. So let's see, I think I'm gonna go with Zenith. This is a really good theme I really love. It's got a big giant header. It looks really great. And then it has this call to action header here at the top. So this is just a basic layout. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with this theme. This is just a stock photo in the back, but we'll go ahead and upload some of the website assets that I already prepared for this webinar. So once you click continue with this theme, this is the 3-step setup. So it's going to just go through three of the just 3 little setup items, and then you'll be in the main control panel. So here's where you can change the image. I do like the stock image, but when you have a website of your own, you always want to use a picture of you or your band or something like that. You don't want to use just like a basic stock photo or a picture of like a forest or ocean. Those are nice pictures, but you're presenting yourself as an artist, so you always want to use a picture of your own. So let me try to find my website assets here. Let's go with this man on the piano. So as you can see, you'll obviously be uploading your own image here, but it fits pretty nicely here. Just a tip for you when you're adding your header photos. With our modern themes, the ones with big header images, you'll always want to use an image that's at least 1,500 pixels wide. That's a great start because it'll scale down to any screen size just in the variable. So you'll want to use a 1,500 pixel wide image, and that'll make it fit nicely. Now, you can always drag the image up and down. So like if you want to see more of the bottom of his piano, you can do so. And you can do that also in the main control panel as well. So I like the image, so I'm going to go ahead and set my title or logo. So with all the themes, you can either set a title, which you'll see right here, where it says Webinar Friends. That would be where your band or artist name would go. You can change the font color. You can you can change the font style. So you can do all sorts of different things like bold, italic. You can change the font size to be bigger. And if you start going bigger on certain themes, it makes the menu go underneath the title. You can space out the letters. But I'm going to keep it just simple and go back down to just the basics. Keep it simple. Now, with the call to action header right here, this is where you can change the color. You can change it to whatever color you want. You can change the subheading and the border color. So right now there's no border, but if we just change the border width, it adds a nice little border to it. So I want to make the border say black, and then the background color I want to make gray. And then I want to change the opacity so that my picture still shows through. And you can do that. So it makes the call to action header stand out just a little bit on the page. And so now I like that, so I'm going to go ahead and view the website. So this is basically what it's going to look like. And I like that, so I'm going to go ahead and click here to start editing. So that was just this 3-step setup. Now we're in the main control panel. This is, if you click Bandzoogle where it says home, or it has a little home button, this is just where your main control panel starts. And this is where you would see your list of, like, say, if you make sales, it'll say you made a sale, or if you get a mailing list sign-up form member, it'll say that here. Right now, there's just this video that you can watch to kind of see how the website builder works. But we're going to go ahead and just go right on to the edit content section. So just for basic understanding, you're going to always pretty much be using the edit content tab and the edit theme tab. These are the two that you're going to bounce back and forth between. mainly the edit content tab. That's where you're going to be adding, any updates. Edit theme is really for, designing your theme. So for sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the edit content tab. And so we're going to start adding a little bit of content, and then we'll go over to the edit theme tab just to design our theme a little bit better. Once you go on here for the first time, you'll see that there's a video how to use the edit content section. Most of you guys are probably past that, so we're going to just click past that. So the first thing that you're going to see is the home page. You can see obviously your list of pages here in the menu, but you can also click pages and see your menu here. So if there was, if say you want to edit the name of the page, you can do it by clicking this little pencil icon. If you wanted to rearrange, say if you wanted to have your store right next to your music, you could just do it, and then it just changed it here in the menu. So you can always change the order of your menu items. If you go to site-wide settings, this is where you would, update your project name. You can talk about, what type of website it is, your genre. You can put a short description, and this is where you'd put your project image. The project image is important. This is the image that sites like Facebook or Google will use. Like, for example, if you share something on Facebook, this is the image that it's going to show when you share anything to Facebook. So you always want to make sure that this is the image that you want to be displayed on pretty much everything. Also under site-wide settings, this is where you would, add your footer text. This is where you submit your sitemap to Google, which is really great for SEO. So if you haven't done that yet, you can do that. You won't do that during the free trial, but you'll do that once you upgrade to a paid plan, and that will verify your site with Google. And that's pretty much it for that. So if you want to, say, have a different style of layout. So right now, the way we have the columns laid out is we have the left side with a wider section, and then we have kind of a sidebar here. Say if I wanted just to have that 50-50, you just click Edit Columns, and then you can just go 50-50 like that. Or say you want to have 3 columns. Now we have the welcome message, our mailing list sign-up form, and we can add a feature here. So say we can add like a music player or something like that. It's super easy. You just click Add Feature. You would get the music feature. And let's just say we want to have a basic music player right there. We can now add a track. We can upload our file. And then we can set a preview. So say we only want people to hear, say, 40 seconds of the song. We can do that. We can add the option to have it for sale. Fixed price, say 99 cents. With our Pro plan, you can put it on sale. So let's just say we want it to be, 20% off. So now it's at 79 cents. Or say you just want to have it, at 50 cents. Now it's going to be, 49 cents. 49%. So you can do it however you'd like. Once you're on a paid plan, and if you go with our Pro plan, you can add your ISRC code, which is for sound scan tracking. You can add track notes. You can add your lyrics and a bunch of other stuff. So we're just going to save that for now. And now it's going to load. For payment settings, you're going to want to add your PayPal email address. So that way that the, anytime you make a sale, you'll get paid. That's very important. So let me just put in okay, so now if we click view your site, you're on the home page. You'll see the header image that we uploaded, and then you see our 3 columns. And you see that there's the music player that we just added. So there's a lot of different things that you can do here. So let's go over a few of the other pages. Actually, I'm going to go back to edit content. And this is where you can adjust. If your theme that you've chosen has this call to action header, you can just click right on here. And this is where you can say, And so with the call to action header, you can type whatever you'd like, and then you can either have it linked, have the button linked to a page that's outside of your website, one of your pages. You can link it to a file, you can link it to an email address, an album. We haven't set that up yet. Then a track. I want to just link it to, say, my store page. So I would just, actually, I want to link it to my music page, and then you can just change it to whatever. So now you're going to see that it's added all the text that I wanted it to say, and now I have a button here. If you decide later you don't want it, you can just delete it. The other thing is, say if you didn't want the text to be so long, you could just say, new album, if they already know, the band's name. And then that just shrinks it down to make it a little bit less. Let's see. Let's go to the shows page so I can show you how to add events. So right now the events feature is already on the page. It's a preset, so if you don't need it, you can just delete it. But for right now, we're going to just click into it. This is where you can easily add your events. So you just click Add Event. Just say we have an event tomorrow at 7 p.m. If it ends, say, at like 10 p.m., you can do that, or you don't have to show an end time or date. If it repeats, this is where you'd set up recurring or not. It's up to you. And then you would just put the location. Let's say, House of Blues. You can also show a map on the page, and then this is where you would add your event details. You can add an image flyer or like whatever posters that you have for the event. Now this is where you can sell tickets. So if you have our Pro plan, you can sell tickets right from your website. Right now we're not going to set it up, but if you did, you would you can sell it from another website. If, say, you're using like Ticketmaster or something like that, you can just add your link to that page, or you can sell tickets directly from your website. Let's just say, actually, let's go ahead and set it up. You can set it for $10 or whatever the cost of the ticket. You can put it on sale, and then you can add a receipt note. If you have, say, a limited supply of tickets, say if the venue only holds, say, 100 people, you can track inventory. Let's just say 100 people, and then the event is confirmed. So you'll just click Save. So now when we go to the site, it shows our event. If we click on it, it gives us the information, and this is where we can buy the ticket, right here in this button. We do have 3 different options for display for our events feature. If you notice, that one was more of a table view, but if you go here to display format, you can say add it to a list view, and this is where you can show, like, say up to, however many, like up to 20 events coming up, and then you can show your past events too. And let's just save it, and then you'll see the difference. So now it's more of a list view, and it'll just go down the page like that. Also, when you're adding an events page, you always want to have images on the page. So for this, you would just edit columns, and let's just say here you can add images. Let's see if I have any other. Let's just use the same image for lack of time. But this would be something like a performance picture. You can also add videos if you want. And so now when we go to this page, you'll see the event, and then you'll see image on the right hand side. If you want the image to be more prominent, you can do that too. Right now it's in a sidebar column. So let's just say I want more of the image to show. So I can put the actual event in a left sidebar and make the image stand out. So it looks a little bit more prominent on the page. With our photos, you can add different gallery styles. If you have an Instagram feed, you can add it. You can move this around. One of the things I wanted to let you guys know, and then we'll go on to the Edit Theme tab, is let's just go back to our home page. Let's just say we set it up, we like the way it looks, but okay, so now I don't really want to have these 3 columns anymore. I want to put my, music feature at the bottom of the page. So now I would just click right here, this little 4-way arrow, click Move, And then you'll see all these little arrows. These are all the points that you can drop that feature. So right now I want to put this music feature under. So I'm just going to click here, and now you see it's full width and it's right under my other content. And now I don't like this little extra white space. So now I'm going to go ahead and edit columns again. And then I'm going to go ahead and set it to how it was previously. So now when you go back to the page, view your site, it looks a little bit more spaced out and kind of easier to see. So anytime you want to move a feature around, you can do that on the page. Another great thing that you can do, once this loads, I'll show you. Because a lot of times people miss this is, let's just say you no longer want to have music on your home page. You click the move arrows, and then just say, I don't want it to be on this home page anymore. I want to move it to my music page. So I'm going to click music, go to music, and it's going to add those same arrows. And so now I can just click on the arrow, and now this music player is actually on the music page instead. So if I go back to home, it's no longer going to be there because I moved it over to the music page. So that's a really easy way to kind of adjust your pages without, having to rebuild. What we're going to do is we're going to go over to the Edit Theme tab. This is where you can have a lot of fun designing your theme to make it your own. So when I'm going to be customizing this, this particular theme might turn out ugly, but I'm just going to do certain edits just so you know the opportunities that you have with the custom editor. So right now, this is just the stock image that we have. But there's so many different filters. You can lighten the image, you can go grayscale, you can brighten it up. There's a lot of different filters like you would see, say, on Instagram. So you can, change it up to any sort of style that you want. Let's see. I'll just pick, that's too light. So I'm just going to go with this particular filter. It brings out kind of the oranges and the reds. Now, if you want to adjust the header height and you don't want it to be so large, you can adjust that a little bit like that. But now this cuts off my image, so I'd have to go back into edit content and drag the image down. So I don't want to do that. I just want to, increase the image again. Actually, I'll put it back to 100%. If we go to, let's just say, so when this says header height, that's only pertaining to this home page. If you want to change any of the pages, like these are called inner pages, any other page besides home, let's just say the about page. Right now there's nothing there, but if we add the image, now of course, if you add a header to the inner pages, you're going to have to go back and drag the image down so the part of the image that you want to show will show up. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it as it was with 0 on the inner pages. And let's go back to the home page. Now we talked about the header title, which is right here, and we talked about how you can change the font style and color. But if you already have a logo, an image of your logo, you can just use that instead. You don't have to use our built-in title. Or if you don't want, if you've already used, like say, a logo in your direct image, you don't have to have anything at all. But for now, we're going to leave it as text. You can change the color and the font. Of course, we already did that. Now, when we go to the menu, there's a bunch of different options. So right now I have it with black font with a gray rollover. But let's just say I want to get creative and I want to kind of match the image. So I have this kind of orange in the image here. So I want the rollover to be orange. So I've chosen that. So once you click on any page, roll over the page, it'll show this kind of orange color. When you start adding sub pages, so you can add main pages and then you can add sub pages under those pages. And there's controls for that too. There's controls for when you view it on a mobile device. And then say we want to just change the menu background to like navy blue. You can change that, or royal blue. Now, if I start getting into the navy blue, you can do like an opacity, like that. Or let's just say you love the navy blue look. You choose it, but now you're going to have to go back up and change the font color to white because you want to make sure it's easy to see. And then you just choose that. Now we're going to have to go back up to the title and change that to, let's just say, a light gray. So this kind of already starts changing the look of the theme. And then let's just keep scrolling down. We already kind of went through the call to action header. Now, if you don't like this white background here, you can change it to any content background. Let me see, page background. So let's just say you wanted to go with more of a light gray. You can do that. You can change it to any color, anything that matches. But that's fairly ugly, so let's just go back to gray. So that's the page background. Now, the content section here in the Edit Theme tab, it's going to be for all the content on all pages. So you just want to keep that in mind. So if you change the font color, let's say to, like more of a dark gray instead of black, it's going to change right here, but it's also going to change on every other page as well. So you just want to keep that in mind, that anything in the content section is changing it for all pages. You can change link color, title font color, heading font color, content font. So let's just say, we wanted to change the font style. You can change it. You can also do bold or things like that. You can change the line height just to give it a little bit more spaced out look. And then you can make it uppercase. But again, make sure you pay attention when you're in the content section, because it is changing all of it, on all pages. And then when you see something here like decorate titles, that's this horizontal line. You can turn that off if you don't like that. But I kind of like the separation. And then you can change the font as well. So now we're at the last section of the edit theme, and this is buttons. So buttons are these little, like anytime you see a button on your site. So you can change the color. Let's just say the orange that we had. You can change the hover color. So if you hover, it's going to change to black. And then you can change the shape. So if you don't like that little pill shape, you can do rounded corners. You could do square to make it more streamlined. I kind of like the square, so we'll leave it. And then you can make the button solid, or you can make it an outline. I kind of like the solid just to make it stand out. Now, I will say that you can customize the CSS, which is the code, if you want to do some other extensive things. But if you're going to change or customize, just please note that it's really for advanced users. And if you make any changes, support team won't be able to help you out with that, or they're not going to be able to, support any of the customizations. So you'll definitely want to only use that if you are really experienced in code. So this isn't the greatest looking website, but just because I wanted to show you all the options, we'll go ahead and save it. And you can always come back and change this anytime. Now, what I want to show you, we'll go ahead and just click View Site. It's pretty much going to look the same. But now you'll get to see, what we came up with. And then, when you go to the pages, you'll see what, like, for example, how we added the music feature. And now you'll see the buttons have, taken on the content that we added in the edit theme. The last thing I want to show you before we're going to come back and take questions is if you come back to the edit theme tab, let's just say you were using this theme for 6 months, and then you're like, hey, it's time for a change. I want to change the look of my site. You just click View Themes, and let's just say that you wanted to have more of a vertical menu. So now you just click Preview, and this is going to load the site with our same image and same call to action header, everything. And then it's just going to have a different style because this is just a different theme. but everything that you've already added in terms of content and pictures is going to be the same. So let's just say continue with this theme. You liked the way it looked. You just continue on. And then you can start making some customizations on this particular theme. So let's just say that, you wanted to change, let's see, all the themes, they have a lot of the same customizations, but some of them have different things. So you just want to scroll through and see. Now, this particular theme also allows you to customize some of the social networking buttons. But let's just say that you really loved this theme, but you didn't love the background color. You could go here and just change it, to the light gray again. But then if you change it, you'll also need to make sure that you change the content font color to black so that people can read it. So you'll just always want to make sure to play around with, all the different, buttons and tools that you have. But it's very easy to change the look of your site anytime you want, and everything's going to stay the same. So if we like that one, I'm just going to save it. And then once this saves, we'll go ahead and click to view the site. Actually, my connection might be slow right now. So we're just going to click view the site, and then now you're going to see that this is the new style with the vertical menu, and then it took on our customizations. So that's pretty much it. There's a lot of different things that you can do. There's a lot of different features that you can add to your site. If you get stuck, you can always check our help tab. We have plenty of help articles and videos. And again, we have 7-day-a-week support. So if you get stuck on anything or have any questions, you can certainly just go to the help tab and write into us. So let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Hold on one second. And we're back. So let's see. All right. So hopefully that made it a little bit more clear in terms of how to build the site and what the different options are. There's a lot of little hidden things that you may not have known about, like with moving features or columns and different things like that. Hopefully that will give you a lot more opportunities and possibilities on building your website. And then you also see on the Edit Theme tab all the customization options that you can do to make your website just really your own. I do want to leave just the last few minutes at the end if we have any questions or answers. It can be about building the site, or it can be pretty much about anything with Bandzoogle. We'll definitely be able to answer questions. I know sometimes when you're building the site, you might get to a place where you're like, I don't know how to do this, or you might have a question like, I want to do this particular setup, but I don't know how. So if you guys have any questions on that, feel free to ask them now. We will be doing these webinars, a lot during the coming months. So even after you've upgraded to a paid plan, we'll continue to have webinars. So if you get stuck on anything, you'll be able to, come back to the webinars and learn new tips and tricks. Let's see. We're also going to be sending out, later today, we'll send out the email with the link to the replay to this webinar. So again, you can feel free to watch this if it went by too fast for you. I always try to get through as much content as possible so that you guys will have the information that you need. It doesn't look like we have any questions, so I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up for the day. But again, you're always welcome to email us from the help tab or go to live chat, and then we'll be able to answer any questions that you have there as well. So have a great day, and we will see you guys on the next webinar. Bye for now.
Bye.